Hello and welcome to Basement Fodder, the only show whose host ended your career as an adventurer by putting an arrow in your knee. I'm Todd.
And I'm Dave.
And poor Dave, he's dead over there today.
I'm undead Dave.
I live with this guy and I've barely seen him this week.
Yeah.
He's slept an innumerable amount of time. Like, how much do you think you've slept this week?
I've probably only been awake less than 24 hours this week.
I would say that's probably a good estimate because it's been bad.
Wednesday night into Thursday morning, I swore I had taken so much NyQuil across the week that I was having like a bad acid trip.
Oh, God.
I literally I sat up in my bed, or thought I did. I wasn't sure because like my equilibrium was off. I was in a cold sweat and like shit was spinning in the dark. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And yeah.
The colors.
And then I just
all the fun of
out.
I was like, all the trippiness of drugs without any of the fun.
Yeah. It's a blast.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is. I have never had that particular ailment that you currently are going through, but it's I'm sure a bitch.
Mm.
But this has been a big week for geek stuff as far as DC goes because this is the big crossover week. Dave is gargling with salt water to make his horribly scarred up mouth feel what it did to your mouth, man. But it's like
feels like my fucking mouth got into a fight with a Tasmanian devil.
Your poor tongue looks like it died in your mouth.
Yeah, it does.
It's rotting there.
It's like, yeah.
But no, it was the big crossover week for all the DC shows.
DC, you're sounding like
DC Comics, baby. Starting on, quote unquote, starting on Supergirl, which I saw some people on Facebook hollering about this.
I saw a lot of people.
And I can't disagree with them. Like, they did say, okay, it's not starting till the end of the episode, but when they say end of the episode, I didn't fucking literally think the last 5 seconds of the episode.
Okay, so if you want to be technical, it didn't. They'd been doing stuff all throughout it. You knew it was coming.
The breaches,
the breaches and stuff. Makes sense. But as far as, people showing up, it was literally the last,
It had nothing to do with the plot of the episode.
Yeah. Which makes sense. Because
the last 20 seconds, maybe. Yeah.
Because with her going to their universe, they're not going to have an effect on what she's doing right now. So, I mean, I understand why people were pissed, but at the same time, they're not in the same universe.
I just feel like I think that people felt like it's not, it wasn't as epic a crossover as it could have been if it could have been on their show, too. But it was it would have been a burn-off episode for them if they had done that, because they would have had to have brought her over into that world at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And then nothing would have happened with her characters.
Straight her.
And then you can do that with the other shows. You can cross and mix them because they're all in the same world. But with this one, you kind of have to make a decision. Either we're going to do a full story and then pop it off at the end, or we're just breaking it off at the beginning.
Yeah.
So, but there's too much good stuff going on in Supergirl right now for them to cockblock a whole episode.
Yeah, and that episode was damn good.
Fuck yeah, it was. Everything that's been going on in Supergirl, I'm really jazzed about.
Yeah.
It has become so much better. Not as it was bad at all, because I liked it the first season.
I think it's gotten better since CW was able to get a hold of it and be like, this is what needs to happen.
Of course, spoilers are abound if you haven't watched any of the shows, but I have to say, before we even talk about the crossover, Supergirl, the Hank Henshaw stuff.
Yeah.
First of all, the stuff with the White Martian, that's fascinating, and doing the McGann character, which I love very much from the comics and from the animated stuff. And then not only that, but using Cyborg Superman and actually calling him that, which is amazing. He calls himself Cyborg Superman, and he's the real Hank Henshaw, which is all those people were like, oh, they fucked us out of Hank Henshaw or whatever. No, here's your Hank Henshaw. He's real, and he's fucking Cyborg Superman, and he calls himself that. His cybernetic parts look really cool. The only thing I didn't like is that cover he was wearing, over the exposed bits, it made him look like Cyborg. Not Cyborg Superman, but fucking Cyborg, which I hate. Because I've always hated the design of Cyborg. I've never, when he was, later on, more recently, he's cooler looking.
Yeah.
But I've always hated his weird,
I think from,
half head design shit.
From, Flashpoint on, he started to look really good.
But everything else, there was a time where he was, full liquid metal. That was kind of okay. But it was weird because he was gold.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
But I never liked that fucking disco, like, Marv Wolfman 80s Teen Titans design at all. And he just looks stupid.
The Mon-El stuff's been really interesting, too.
Yeah. That's interesting, and it's interesting because, like, I wonder what his secret really is.
And it's coming.
Yeah.
You saw the
like,
fucking...
I don't...
ship.
That story he told about the prince and shit, like, I think that's horse shit. Like, total horse shit.
The prince didn't...
Yeah, no, I think that he's, like... He was a fugitive, and he wasn't even on Daxam at the time that the shit went down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and then those aliens, they show those aliens looking for him and shit, and so I'm like, which aliens are these, I wonder?
I think there might be some Daxams.
You think?
I think they might be, like, Daxams from, like, off-world, and that blame him or something.
We'll see what happens, I'll tell you. It's really getting interesting, plus in the fact that they're fucking teasing a relationship between him and Kara, and the kiss that happens when he's, but he totally remembers it. He plays that he does not remember, but he totally remembers it.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting. And she seemed to not be unreceptive to, the thought of them having a relationship, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, all of this, there's just so much, like, interweaving stuff going on right now. And I like the stuff that's happening with Alex because she's becoming so much more of a character.
Yeah.
Like, she was already a pretty decent character.
Yeah, she was one of my favorite.
But she's really, like, a strong character now. And even the Guardian stuff, like, it is weird to see, like, Jimmy be a hero, I guess. Yeah. But I like the look of Guardian.
Yeah.
And the stuff they're doing with it is interesting.
It makes sense because of who's he working with.
And, like, you can really, I tell you, when you watch the first season and you watch this season, you can definitely tell the huge demarcation between, because it's very much a CW show now.
Yeah.
It's very much, like, in the world. And, like, even though they are technically in another Earth, like, it still plays more like one of the CW shows. Like, the way that other heroes are happening and teams are forming and shit. Like, this is a thing that they do on these DC shows is they create a core team and interpersonal stuff. Yeah. So, really good. Now, the crossover itself. I said, I was telling you this morning when you were leaving for school, but, like, what I would just say overarching about the crossover is what I love about it is that through all 4 shows, the tone remained the same on the shows that they should have been.
Yeah.
Like, Arrow's episode was darker because it should have been.
Oh,
because,
that was the most feels one. That one got me. That was like, that last scene when they're, like, walking out through the thing and Ollie stops and turns around and it's just all of them, and he's hearing their voices and stuff.
That one gave me chills. To be honest,
I was like, I'm getting chills again.
Yeah, just
about it. I was just like,
that
was rough because like Tommy, Roy, all of them and shit, and it's like, and even Thea said it, like, of all the things you've had to sacrifice, this stuff, and
we'll talk about Arrow since we're already talking about it. But Arrow, like, not only was this the crossover, but wasn't this also the 100th episode too?
Yeah, this was the 100th episode.
Yeah, and technically Flash was before Arrow, but we'll go back to Flash.
Yeah.
But, let's just talk about Flash real quick because you have to.
Yeah.
So at the end of Supergirl, that's when the crossover starts, and she crosses back over into their universe again, or their Earth. And
one thing I'll note though, because they show it again in Flash, which kind of makes it fucking pointless. Kind of sucks. Right now, with what's going on with Flash, with, like, Cisco and shit, they're using every chance they get for Cisco to throw these little jabs at Barry. And, like, Barry's like, "Oh, it's my friend Cisco." He's like, "Well, friend's such a loose term."
I'm like, "Come on, Cisco, nut up." Like, I like how that's resolved. That by the end of things, that gets resolved really well, actually. But excuse me. Yeah, they bring her over, and they gather basically everybody together. The only people that didn't show up in the Flash episode were Maya and Steel. Yeah, they were on this ship, which is, like, I understand, because there's a lot of people you have to logistically put into these episodes, so it's okay to, like, leave a few people out.
Oh, yeah.
The Flash episode played out well. There was still a good, like, amount of Flash storyline happening. They were still dealing with the Wally stuff. The aliens, they look interesting.
They look like enough like they did in
enough
comics.
Like it, yeah.
While still looking creepy and realistic.
Disturbing. Yeah, really disturbing. And this, they do the government, trying to get with it and stuff, and the president gets killed. And just, it's interesting. The building that they use is the Star Labs building that looks like the Hall of Justice, and it's actually, I think that they took the digitals from the Hall of Justice looking building in Cincy.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, which is really cool to see them using that building and having that whole thing and having them together. And it's interesting to see everybody's different reactions to Supergirl.
Yeah.
Like, Diggle is always entertaining to see him react. Like, he had a really good thing with Barry, like, when they were dealing with Vigilante at the beginning of the Arrow episode. No, it wasn't in the Flash episode? Yeah, that's when he first got them. In the Flash episode, they show them trying to catch Vigilante, and Barry, like, saves them from getting shot, basically.
Yeah, both of them.
And poor Diggle, like, he can't do the super speed at all.
Every time. Still fucking, still blowing chunks.
But it's really interesting to see, like, the reaction that Supergirl got from everybody, because, like, Barry is just like, oh, we're BFFs, kind of, and shit.
Always like, I thought you were going to get an alien, and he was like, oh, I am. My friend Clara.
Pretty blonde girl back. Like, and Oliver has an interesting reaction to stuff, and they talk about it later on in the Legends episode with, like, his reaction to things, and he explains, like, why he does things a certain way, and it's interesting. But, like, yeah, everybody else just seemed kind of like, and Mick was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. And then eventually he was like, I like her, like,
Everybody was like, oh, cool, you're an alien and stuff, but they didn't seem, like, kind of super blown away.
Well, it's like, wouldn't you live the lives of all these people? What surprises you anymore? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they have Cisco and Felicity.
Except for Diggle.
Yeah. Diggle is like the normal guy, and that's mixed up in all this bullshit.
She flies and does laser beams, and he's like, seems pretty super to me.
Yeah.
He's like,
like, you get, like, they're all pretty like, shit happens or whatever, but then, like, you have Cisco and Felicity, and they're the ones that get to geek and shit. And there was a lot of great geeky references that got thrown into this show. All these shows. The Dominators are like a species that's been coming, like they came in the 50s and stuff, and they're kind of that, like, the gray aliens sort of thing. And it's like, you find out through the course of things that basically they find metahumans to be a threat.
Yeah. And
so they keep coming back to check them, basically, like, to see,
analyze, like, where they're at.
Yeah. And shit hits the fan, and just it all goes through.
Yeah.
And the Flash episode is good. They do some fighting. The Dominators take over most of the teams.
Everybody except for Barry and
Oliver.
Ollie.
Yeah.
And Wally.
And Wally, yeah.
Wally ended up helping them, which almost...
Getting his ass handed to him, which is exactly what he shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah, but watching Barry take on Firestorm, Atom, and Supergirl at the same time, while Ollie took on White Canary, Thea, and Diggle all at the same time was pretty nice.
This is like, ultimately, it's so interesting. Like, in the comics world, like, Superman and Batman are the core, and Wonder Woman, and, like, they're the ones that everybody looks up to, or they're the ones that handle the situations. But in the TV universe, the way it's shaped, it's Ollie and Barry.
Yeah,
they are the core.
Yeah,
and they are the analogs, really, of Superman and Batman. Even though Barry's not nearly as powerful, it's just like the way the world is set up.
The non-powered, empowered.
Everything kind of revolves around those guys.
But it makes sense that it would be Barry, because he's not physically as powerful as Superman, but with his powers, he can do things that can wreck shit.
It's
like
weird.
Superman.
Like, I don't know if you ever read those. There were 2 Elseworlds books called The Nail, where it was like, the premise of it was that the Kent's truck picked up a nail and blew a tire and never found the baby, and the baby died.
Yeah.
And there was a world without a Superman, but there was all the other heroes were still there and stuff. Yeah. And that's kind of what the CW verse is like.
Yeah.
If you exclude Supergirl, like, because she's on another planet or whatever. But in their universe is kind of like the Nail universe.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting to see, like, what heroes stepped up and what ones are the core ones instead of that.
Yeah.
And of course they don't have Batman. Well, I mean, they do kind of reference Batman existing in Supergirl, but not in... So it would make sense then, really, if Superman doesn't exist in this world, that Batman is in the world of Superman and not in the world of this.
Yeah. So... But
then they've also kind of referenced Nightwing in Arrow a few times.
My friend in Bloodhaven,
Yeah, so it's like, Batman couldn't exist in that universe. Yeah, and they've talked about Gotham and stuff, so it's possible Batman could exist in the Arrowverse. They just haven't talked about it, or it hasn't happened. But it's interesting. Mm-hmm. But once we get into the Arrow episode, it's the 100th episode, and the Dominators at the end of the Flash episode, they kidnap all the non-metas that are out there. And so it's Oliver, Thea, Ray, and Sarah, right? Or am I missing one? No? Mm-hmm. No, who? Oh, who's the other one? Shit. Let me think.
Ollie.
Diggle.
Diggle.
So, and they put him into this world, like simulation, as if like Oliver never went on the Queen's Gambit, basically.
Yeah, it's the world that they've always wanted.
Yeah.
Basically, as he wakes up and the next day he's jogging home, getting out of the shower is his fiance, who he's marrying that day, and it's Laurel. You know, he basically kind of straightened up, and his dad and his mom are alive, and you know, his sister just happy she never had her whole issues with drugs or anything.
Yeah, Merlin is around and stuff, and
but
Tommy's
he's a good
like
guy.
off being a doctor.
In
Chicago. Yeah,
Sarah's back, and she's like openly
gay and like happy and stuff.
Ray is like trying to buy out Queen Consolidated, but it's not like a dick move.
He's with Felicity.
Yeah,
which
is interesting.
And Green Arrow exists, but it's Diggle.
Yeah, and
it's like him trying to atone for his military sins, basically. Yeah. And it's interesting to me that his perfect world is that he's Arrow. I wonder, like, he kind of got the raw end of the deal. You would think his perfect world would be like he's married to Lila and they have kids and like whatever. But in his perfect vision, I guess he's so fucking mad at himself that he has to atone. Like, no matter, even in his fantasy
for his
world.
Brother,
yeah, that's some fucked up shit right there. That shows you like the level and the depth of like tortured that John Diggle is
right now. That's the thing.
Even in his fantasies, he's still atoning.
That's the thing. Like, nobody really realized, they had talked about it, that something was going to happen that season that was going to fuck John up and make him look at Ollie in a completely different light, and killing his brother did that.
And it didn't help that in the Flash episode, Barry told everybody because Cisco busted his ass out
like a fucking D-bat. Well, that's because...
and because of the recording that they talked about on Legends of Barry in the future saying he can't be trusted and all that shit.
The war.
Which I wonder if that is completely because of the Dominator thing, like, or if it's because of something else too.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's more to come on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like Diggle found out that he had a daughter and not a son.
Stein has a daughter.
Stein has a daughter now, which is very interesting.
Yeah, and they don't say anything too much about his wife, so I wonder if she's still alive.
And they infer that everything is okay. Yeah, but like that's interesting that he has a daughter, and then the stuff they deal with on Legends for that is interesting too.
Yeah.
But so Arrow plays out as kind of this, you know, alternate world, except for they're all kind of getting memory flashes, like when they touch something or they think of something.
Yeah, instincts take over mind concepts, and they all keep doing things and getting these weird flashes. Like when Sarah shows up, Laurel's wearing this necklace, and it's
the canary symbol. Yeah,
and Sarah's like, "Oh, what's that?" And she says it's a canary. And as soon as like she touches it, it says canary. Like,
she like freaks out and has a memory thing, and then Oliver like is having muscle memory things.
Yeah.
With like, and being like, what the fuck, I shouldn't be able to do that kind of thing. And like him and his dad get mugged, and he like steps in front of it, and that's when you find out that there's another Green Arrow because he fucking stops the mugger and shit. And Oliver,
he knows exactly where they are.
He knows where to find, like he gets the memories, and like when he's walking around, there's a Smoke Technologies building which shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
And everybody is like, this shouldn't exist, because even Felicity in that fantasy world is like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah. Ray's.
Yeah.
Like, she said she never owned that building.
Yeah, so like, it's kind of fucking with everybody, and they finally all, through the course of it, figure it out. Basically, Oliver is the first one to figure it out, really, and then he goes to Diggle, and at first Diggle like freaks the fuck out when he shows up and tries to kill him and stuff, but then he comes to him later, and like, then they start like popping in villains and shit. Like Deathstroke shows up. Yeah. Now here's the only disappointing thing for this whole thing for me is that it's not Manu Bennett.
Yeah, a lot of people said that.
And like that's a nitpick.
Yeah.
Like that's the only negative thing I can say. Like it was sad that they could get everybody back, but they couldn't get him. I don't know if they couldn't get him, or if he was busy, or he just doesn't have a good relationship with them anymore.
He last time we had talked about it, he didn't like what they had done with the character, like how they had ended it and stuff. How he was such a big bad guy for so long, and then he shows back up one last episode, and like Thea kicks his ass. Like that was kind of shitty. Which I agree.
I don't disagree with that either. But it was sad. Like they could get everybody, but they couldn't get him.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, they just never took his helmet off.
Yeah.
Which Deathstroke still works. It just like it's weird because he's such a talky bad guy.
Yeah.
To see him be like a mute fighter, it just doesn't feel right. It didn't feel right. But it was still cool to see like the Deathstroke outfit and see the actual fight. Yeah, because no Manu Bennett talking.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, she hates him.
Yeah.
I love Bane of Bennett.
She
He's
just
fucking
doesn't
awesome.
like him in that role.
I don't know. I loved him as Slade. I thought he was great.
Yeah.
But he chews up scenery, but I like acting like that. But I like Star Trek.
Slade is that character.
He is.
Though.
He's
Even
a
in the
shit
comics,
talker. He's a big fucking shit talker.
In the comics, he was that way. Like, he would just chew up whole panels of fucking
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally.
shit.
And they end up fighting him, and then, like, by the end of it, like, everybody is figured out. And there's this really great scene that happens between Thea and Oliver.
Yeah.
And Thea's like, yeah, I know, but I don't care. Like, I want to stay here.
Yeah.
Because all this, like, what is she, like, all the stuff that you sacrificed, don't you deserve this kind of thing? And he's like, I didn't do it to get a reward.
Yeah, he's like, I made a choice. Like, I did it because I had to do it, not because I thought there'd be a reward at the end. And
what really got me is, like, when he hugs his parents, like, when he knows he's leaving.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not that person. And, like, it's crushing. There's a great scene between Thea and her mother, too, when she's, like, trying on the bridesmaid's dress for the wedding and everything. Like, there's a really good scene there. And there was a good scene with Captain Lance and Oliver, too. Like, there's a lot of really good stuff. Like, you get this, it's a fucking crazy glimpse into what life could have been for them.
Yeah.
If not for what, Oliver being a fuck up, basically.
Well, it even gets brought up later on by Sarah. She's like, technically, those two started it.
Yeah.
Like, they were the groundworks, both Sarah and, I mean, so.
It's interesting. It's always fun to get to see Sarah and Oliver get to interact and stuff, too, because, like, she is, from that show, but she's done so much more now that you think of her as a Legends thing, but really she is an Arrow character, and, like, to see them get to be together, because there's still something there.
Yeah.
There's always still something there.
Yeah.
Like, there's always a part of me that wishes they would have ended up together, because they were such a better couple.
Better chemistry.
They had better chemistry than both him and Laurel and him and Felicity put together. Like, him and Sarah, to me, just they kind of belong together. But no, it was a really gut-wrenching episode, and it tied in perfectly with the crossover. But, like, there's some really good stuff in there that's not in the fantasy, too. There's, like, all the rest of Oliver's team, except for Artemis dealing with Barry and they got Supergirl and stuff.
They are trying to figure out how to replicate, like, some technology to communicate with the Dominators or figure out what they're doing and shit. And Felicity's like, oh, I'm gonna call in some backup since Oliver and them are gone, and it's Barry and Supergirl. And Barry, of course, carries Mr. Terrific and Ragman. Yeah. Wild Dog's like, no, like, I'm not getting carried. And then when he sees Supergirl land, he's like, I'm good. I'm not another one. Yeah, and they're like, I don't know what your problem is with it. And he raises a point that a lot of people have raised, but it's interesting to hear it. Like, that aliens didn't show up. Like Metas didn't show up until the Flash showed up, basically. And I'm like, well, it's called they all were created at the same time. Like, but then, like, here comes an alien, and now we got aliens. But technically, the bad aliens showed up first too. But it's like he's like superpowers are evil, and I'm like, I get what you're saying, because, like, it's been brought up in it gets brought up in Batman comics a lot. Yeah. Like, would there be these villains if Batman didn't exist? Would there be Joker if there wasn't Batman? Would there be any of them? Yeah. Like, well, Joker's the one, because Joker's so defined on Batman that they're like, if Batman was never there, would Joker have even came about? And you can make that argument with Lex and Superman too, especially if you look, like, depending on which Lex it is. But if it's like the Smallville Lex, God, absolutely, it's fucking there's the argument. But, like, even the comics Lex, like, he was kind of inherently a bad guy, but he wasn't like a megalomaniacal supervillain. He was like an evil businessman. And he would have probably been corrupt as fuck and done shitty stuff, but not to the level that he did because of Superman. Tycho and and shit. He would have been like Trump. He kind of already is, but he would have became president. Well, I mean, that's life imitating art right there. All right, let's start playing the Smallville song. Somebody save me song. Somebody save all of us, for Christ's sake. We have a crazy orange guy in a toupee as president, but flying aliens. Yes. Does that mean we're getting Superman? Because I'll take Trump as president if it means we're getting Superman. Yeah. This can be like that new Superman, the Chinese one. Yeah. I'm okay with it. That's fine. But
But no, it raised a point or whatever, and then they fought this villain that was like a weird kind of like electroshock stock villain.
They called her Cyborg Woman.
Yeah,
she was this doctor lady who kept adding all these parts to her.
I don't know if she's based on
she's not
character. I was like, who the fuck is that?
Shit.
I did love the thing that Flash and Supergirl do with her. They did like a tag team thing, because like Supergirl like threw her up against the wall and shit. And then, like, walks away, and Barry literally tagged her hand. Mm-hmm. And then he, like, fucking super speed clotheslines her ass.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck just happened?
So it's like... like, she...
It was so great.
Yeah. Or no, it was, he spun her.
Yeah.
She came, did the spin, he ran to the wall, she grabs her, does a spin, and hucks her at Barry, and Barry just...
But they totally tagged, though.
Yeah. After they literally just saved Wild Dog's ass.
Yeah.
Like, hardcore.
But he does a nice little about face on his opinion.
Yeah. But what's really cool is I love what they've been doing with Ragman, because they showed another thing about his character that was really cool, because him and Holt were going back and forth about like a higher power.
Yeah, he is like deeply religious, because he's Jewish. He's deeply like religious,
and like they get the stuff back, and they're trying to like decipher it, and they're like, I don't know what the fuck this is, like, you know, never programmed it. And he looks at it, and he's like, it looks like this, which happens to be a very old like.
It's an ancient numerical code that's in Hebrew. Like, every word has a number associated with it. And, like, it's similar enough to that to where they can decipher what it is. And, like, earlier Holt was like, you know, show me some proof or whatever. And he's like, well, here's some proof right here.
Everything starts from a divine being.
Yeah, that was a nice little thing.
Yeah. Especially from his character. I like the guy that got to play him.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I just wish they would do something about his face.
Yeah.
His mask, I mean.
Fair enough,
I just don't like his mask. Like, the rest of it I can live with completely.
Yeah, it makes sense for the
really
story.
Need to fucking give him a better mask.
Yeah.
Especially since they have, like, everybody else got cool masks and stuff. And you were totally right about Mr. Terrific, because I thought at first it was face paint, but no, it's actually a thing. Yeah. Like, it's some kind of, like, latex mask thing that they put on him. But it fooled me at first, because I didn't get a good, like, close-up on him. But once you get a close-up on him,
Artemis
it has edges and shit.
Artemis is...
Artemis is totally face paint.
Yeah.
But, no, like, it just looks really fucking cool, though.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, yeah, I'm glad they did that, because it is a mask, you know, it needs to be a mask. But yeah, no, it just really, again, it goes back to that thing where like none of the shows lost their tone.
Yeah.
By doing this mega crossover, like they all were right pitch point on where their tone normally is.
And it was cool because like when they're all leaving, you know, they're all standing outside getting ready to go, and then Ollie is shot in the shoulder, and there's Merlin again, but now he's the Dark Archer. Yeah. And then you look down the line, and there's Damien Dark, Deathstroke. There was Hive Guys.
Hive Guys, yeah.
And the one guy's from that killed Palmer's.
They killed Palmer's fiance, yeah. And that was interesting, too, because Palmer is, like, hand-to-hand fighting, and he's not good at it.
No, but, man, he's beating the shit out of them.
He beat the shit out of those guys, but it was, like, very, like, haphazard fighting.
Yeah.
It's good, it should be, because he's not a trained fighter.
No.
In that respect. Yeah. And then he, like, grabbed one of their guns and shot one of them, and you could tell it was a fucked up thing for him to do.
Yeah.
Because they stopped long enough for him to have that look in his face, like, oh, no, I don't like to do that, because he doesn't like guns.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. So that one rounded up, and then we went into Legends.
Well, the ending when they get to the place, he says his goodbyes to Laurel, which that one was rough. Like watching her, you know, basically, I know it like
get left at the altar, essentially,
by everyone,
everyone,
and it's like they're all basically like giving up on that world, and Ollie being like, "I love you, but you always deserved better." And like the things that he said and shit was rough. And then when they get to the place and they find where they need to go to get out, and they're leaving, and like all he hears the voices, and he turns around, and standing there is basically people from his past.
Yeah, it was. They were in space, like on the fucking Dominator's ship. They find out when they get out of the stasis and shit. They have to figure out how to get out of there. Yeah. And they steal one of their jump ships and like try to get away, but they have no idea how to steer the fucking thing. And then here comes the Wave Rider out of nowhere.
Saves their ass.
And it's Steel and fucking Maya. Yeah. And they get them and shit.
But that last scene with him when he was walking out, he turns around and it's his mom, his dad,
Roy,
Laurel, Felicity, like everyone, and you know,
it was everyone who died too. It's like, oh, God, it's just rough, dude.
And the last things they said to him.
Yeah, I noticed the only other person they didn't bring back that was kind of a major person from the beginning of Arrow was Walter.
But
they mention him, which is cool
because that actor is really busy over in New York.
Yeah, but I love him too. I was kind of hoping.
I was hoping too.
I was kind of hoping for Tommy too. Like, because I love Tommy.
But he's on a new show.
That's right, He's on that Chicago. But that's funny that they, like, said he was a doctor in Chicago because he's on that fucking Chicago medical show. And then, like, Roy. Like, they show him in the little ghost type thing at the end, but he didn't get to be. But he wouldn't make sense for him to be in the episode necessarily. Like, for it to be part of that story. But no, it was really well done. And, like, it was cool to see all that interaction and that sort of like Elseworlds kind of what if story in a way. It reminds me of the episode of Batman that they did the animated series of Batman where they did the perfect world. I think it was Mad Hatter put the hat on him that put him into the perfect world, but it didn't work because he is inherently Batman no matter what. And it's like the episode like of Justice League cartoon where they had the flower. And they were all, the Black Lotus.
Black Mercy.
Or Black Mercy, and they're all in the perfect world and stuff. Yeah, it's just like...
with Superman where he has to basically say he doesn't believe in his son and everything. And it's rough.
Oh, God. And it leads into the Legends stuff. And Legends is like... God, Legends is really good right now. Like, I really... Like, I miss Rip not being there. Yeah. But Steel is a really good character.
Oh, really good.
Like
with powers and without.
Yeah, without powers he's good, and with powers he's good too. And now they've finally got him in his costume.
And that costume.
And I love Mickey's like, you look like a Star Spangled Idiot. But no, I think he looks badass. But the helmet looks really fucking cool. It is a nice take on his comic costume.
And his grandfather's in the show.
And his grandfather's in the show, yeah. And the helmet looks badass. I love that they're using like a full helmet on him, and he looks really fucking cool.
Like less they have to CGI.
Exactly, because there's only a little bit of skin showing, like with the mouth and the arms.
And he seems to like turn it on and turn it off.
And plus it's armored kind of too, and so like he doesn't necessarily have to armor up every time to just do simple fighting and stuff. Like you notice, like he was going in and out of it. Yeah, like he's got more of a grasp of his powers now, and he was only armoring up when he needed to. Yeah, which was really cool. Like I like that it's evolving and he's getting control of it. And I like how they got Ray his suit back and everything and shit.
That was one thing at the end of Arrow. I was just like, Ray, you just got your suit back. And now you're leaving it on the alien ship. I was like, what the shit?
What the shit, dude?
What the shit? And then they're like, oh, well.
They got a shit ton of dwarf star.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, buddy, let's not just be free with that shit.
Seriously, like, Oliver lost all his shit. Well, they all did, but they were like, oh, we can replicate all that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's convenient.
I was like, Ray?
Usually Oliver is more of a, like, I want my own shit, like, kind of a person.
Well, that, and it's like, Ray, remember what happened last time you lost some tech?
Yeah, you dumbass.
You had the giant size to fight it against Savage's fucking thing, which which was cool, but it was like, that's what happens when you leave your tech with other motherfuckers, so.
But they dig a little deeper into the aliens themselves, and then of course they use time travel to go back to the 50s when the aliens showed up before, so they can try to snatch one and like talk to it and figure out what's going on and communicate with it and stuff. And there's interesting like Area 51 style shit that goes on, and there's the Mr. Smith sort of character.
And it's an interesting thing too because it's Felicity and Cisco go
because Cisco wants to get away from Barry. Excuse me. Which, like, that's been a thing that keeps happening. Like, he just keeps being an asshole to Barry. Like, I get it. I understand what his, like, deal is. But, like, I don't know. Like, by the end of the episode, like, Cisco makes the decision when they go and rest, because they get kidnapped by the government bad guys, basically.
After they
get the alien.
Yeah.
And the alien gets kidnapped too, and they're doing experiments on the alien and shit, and Cisco and Felicity rescue them with, like, some guns they found on the ship, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But I want to miss, like, one of the little awesome Easter egg things in there. When they do the time jump and Felicity can't talk, like she's got dysplasia or whatever, like voice dysplasia and shit, like she's babbling out nonsense. One of the things that she babbles out is Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra, which is a fucking Star Trek reference for that episode for the Next Generation that they always do the Pooh and Piglet meme with.
Yeah.
And I was like, geek!
Yes. So
and then there's a really great one later on at the end, too, with Brandon Routh. That's fucking hilariously fucking hilariously.
There was also that thing with Ollie where he told Supergirl to like stand down, like kind of like, hey, don't go with us on this.
Yeah, he explains to her like basically like how I deal with things is to like step back away and keep it at arm's length, you know, kind of.
Like I need to claw back some normalcy from what just happened.
Yeah, in order to keep himself sane, he needs to hang on to some normal and like only take so much crazy at once, basically. And he's like, I can deal with evil aliens, but another alien right now I can't trust. So get away from me, basically.
Yeah, I need some space.
it is very an Ollie thing, though. Yeah. Like he has to process things a little at a time, or he'll go crazy because he puts so much pressure on himself. So he's so fucking tightly wound. Yeah, you know. And that's interesting too because like Barry is taking all this onto himself, like the Flashpoint stuff. And when Cisco busts him out and he has to tell everybody basically, and Diggle finds out, and like everybody is like, "What the fuck, dude?" And like Sarah just fucking yells at Barry straight up, like, "Do you know how fucking hard it is for me not to do this shit?" Like,
yeah, which I find a little hypocritical.
Like, bitch, you were trying to do it, if not for Palmer.
Yeah, the entire team had to basically stop you from killing fucking
Damien Dark, like more than once. If not for Ray Palmer, your ass would have done this already. Like, a little bit hypocritical there, but. Yeah, Cisco basically takes off with him so he can get away from Barry. But like when they get captured and Cisco and Felicity rescue them, Cisco makes the decision to save the alien. Yeah, because they're torturing it. Yeah, and that bites them in the ass because when they get back to the future, the alien is like you saved me, and so I'm sparing your life. But the reason that I'm doing this is because metas are out of control or whatever, and blah blah blah. And so like he's like, oh fuck me, I screwed us all. Yeah. Oh shit. I've been yelling at Barry and pissed at him for doing this.
Because you made a choice. Yeah. You tried to do the right thing to save somebody.
And he just did the same thing. And then it gets that realization that needed to happen for him to get the fuck over it and move on.
And what's also interesting, too, is like the whole Stein has a daughter thing. You think, you're like, oh, okay, the Flashpoint's finally having an effect. But then you find out that's not...
No, it's because he chewed his younger self out in that one episode in the 80s.
And he created a time aberration.
Yeah,
and
because
the time aberration is his daughter.
Yeah, and like I like how they dealt with it because like the memories coming to him. That's interesting because like he's been getting headaches and flashes of this person that he doesn't know. Yeah, but he feels like emotions for and stuff. Yeah. And then they figure out that when he goes back to his house with Caitlin, he figures out that it's a daughter that he didn't have before. Yeah. But like it's interesting how the timeline catching up was like pushing memories into his head basically. And like feelings and stuff.
And it wasn't Barry.
Like, and it wasn't Barry. He fucked up. Yeah. Like that's the thing. That's that butterfly shit. It's like you don't know what's gonna cause shit to be wrong, so that's why you gotta fucking really be careful. And he didn't think of the consequence of basically bitching himself out for not being his wife enough. Yeah. Like,
or just being like, hey dude, like pay some more attention. But then it's Stein who takes things so literally sometimes. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, plan of attack now.
Plan of attack. Fuck my wife a lot.
Yeah. Flour till there's about 6 buns in that oven. Gotcha.
I heard he's talking to Jax later, and Jax is like, so he took it to me and like, take it to the boom boom room or whatever.
Oh my god.
Boomtown, that's what he said. Taking her Boomtown.
Look on Victor. Stein's face is fucking priceless. I love Victor Garber because he just looks at him and I'm like,
it's so great.
You knew he was going to say this. Like, it's hard because I love Jax. I would love to see Ronnie Raymond back at some point in time, but it's like, I just don't know how I'd feel about it though. Because I'm so used to that Firestorm.
Yeah, and he can't, like, both can't exist at the same time, like, because they both require 2 parts, and the one part is the same on both. But yeah, no, I love Robbie Amell, but like at first I really didn't like Jax at all, like at all. But he kind of grew on me. Like I don't know, there's something about him. He was kind of grating and like irritating at first, but like as it's grown as a character,
he's better on Legends.
Oh god, yeah, than he was on Flash.
Yeah,
yeah.
But that's because
you get time to develop.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's kind of the thing with like the problem they're having with like Wally. Like, there's so much going on right now that Wally's not really getting, I feel like, enough time to develop. Like, they're just giving him little bits and stuff, so it's like, anytime he's having kind of like a emotional crisis, he can kind of come off a little bitchy and stuff. But, I mean, it's like, if you think about it, you're like, oh, actually, I kind of understand. He finally got these powers, and he can do something, and everyone's like, no, you know. And it's like, for all intents and purposes, he's way surpassed where Barry was at that time. Like, you know. And it's not like they don't need help against, like, Savitar and Alchemy.
I understand why they're worried, because, like, his powers are born out of alchemy, which is, like, very suspect. Like, will they last?
Yeah.
Could there be damage? Could he be possessed or like easily influenced by alchemy or Savitar? That's what I would worry about, because it's speed powers especially, and Savitar is calling himself like a speed god. I would be scared to death that Wally would like instantly be fucking taken over by Savitar, because he's got fucking, you know, speed powers or whatever, and that were gained through Savitar's fucking influence. So there's nothing to say that these powers will A, be temporary, or B, be easily fucking influenced.
All I know is I want to see, like, a Flash finale where it's Barry, Jesse, Wally, and Jay.
Yeah, I'd probably come.
Yeah. Like the Flash family just
I'd be filling the cup on that one.
whipping Savitar's ass. Because I'm pretty sure that's how it kind of had to go last time, was there had to be a couple speedster to help kick the shit out of Savitar.
That would be like an epic fucking awesome
Especially
finale.
how badass they made him in this one. He whooped Barry's ass like almost as bad as Zoom did that one time. It was like one of those like, holy fuck, ass whoopings. So
I know that Jay is coming back, because they showed it in the preview and stuff, so I'm really excited for that. Like, there's just so much, like...
Oh, well, we gotta finish with what the Dominators actually wanted. The Dominators basically made a deal with the evil Mr. Smith guy, and the deal is they will leave Earth alone for one thing only.
They want Barry.
Because
Barry is the birth of the metahumans, basically.
Well, also Flashpoint, because of what he did with that, too. He is their proof that metas can go too far.
Yeah, can go too far and shit. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Fuck you, aliens, because it's none of your goddamn business like to police our fucking planet. Like, get the fuck out. Like,
and, I love that Kara knew about them, too. Like, from her world.
Yeah, so they exist in her universe, too, which is interesting.
And their dicks there, too.
Yeah,
so it's like, hey, why don't you get that Medusa virus? And just...
no shit. Could have brought some of that with you. What's going on there?
But of course, Barry's like, I'll go.
Yeah, of course it's Barry. So he's like, him and Oliver both, like, they're just at the drop of a hat willing to sacrifice themselves no matter what. Like, and that always, it's a hero trait. It's a hero trait, but it's annoying in some respect too, because you like, how about trying to find another way first? Like, Oliver will be like, okay, maybe I'll try to find another way sometimes. Barry is usually just like, nope, just kill me. Like,
that's because like Ollie's usually there's a little bit more obvious a way. Barry's, it's like it's a little rough. Like this one's like, give us Barry, or we're gonna do a reenactment of fucking Independence Day on your planet. It makes sense again
to what I was talking about, them being the Superman and Batman of this universe, because it's exactly how both of those would behave. Yeah, because Bruce would sacrifice himself, but he would try to find a way first. Yeah. And Cal or Clark would just be like, yes, take me. Because he's always done that. Like, I will take the brunt, I don't care. Like,
and Bruce would do the exact same
like,
thing he
hey,
did.
Stop it, no. Like,
and he did. He's like, we're not going to let you. And he's like, you and what army? And the entire crew was there like, you're fast, motherfucker. You're fast, Barry, but not all. You can't take all of us.
And I say, like, in scope of all the crossover that they've done, this is the biggest one. It's like battle-wise and stuff, because, like, we got that big scene with everybody, like battling the Dominators on the roof, on this giant rooftop and shit, and like they're all powered out at the same time, and like there's some really amazing teamwork stuff happening in there. Like, the Legends, they took the time to show that the Legends do work together as a team, because their fighting was all very team-based. And, like, even with, like, and like, all the teams were working together, too. It's like Oliver and his people worked well together, and Barry and his people were working well together and shit, too. It's like, so all of them were kind of, like, doing their thing.
Barry and Supergirl worked well together.
Yeah, extremely well together. And so it's just, like, all those things. Through the help of Stein's daughter, like, they figure out a way to hurt the Dominators and shit. And then the Dominators are trying to drop this meta bomb, basically, that will kill all the metas, but it will also kill a bunch of people, too, because it's a fucking bomb.
Yeah.
And so, like, Firestorm, like,
they catch it with the Rave Rider.
Yeah, with the tractor beam. And fucking, he uses his abilities to transmute it into water, basically. But it's like, took all that he had, essentially, to do it.
And he's like, Jax is like, I don't know if I can do it. And then Stein's like, please, my daughter. And Jax is like, you're what? Like, this is where he finds out that Stein has a daughter. And this is like one of those moments where it's like, I thought Jax was going to, like, burn out, like, power-wise and
it's
stuff.
Scary,
and
because he could go completely, like, code red, basically.
And, like... It was scary when he did it to that nuke that one time, and he did it to something that was, like, massive, and he turned it all into water.
Yeah, and this bomb was massive. It was huge. It was like a giant fucking ball, basically.
It was probably the size of Star Labs in Central City.
Yeah, it was fucking enormous. So, yeah, it was pretty, like, insane shit.
Yeah.
The stuff with Stein and his daughter is interesting, because at first he's very, like, freaked out by it, and he's, like, not wanting to talk to her, and... Caitlin's like, why? And he's like, she didn't exist before. And Caitlin's like, oh, fuck. Like, it's because of Flashpoint. And he's like, no, it's because of what I did.
Yeah.
And then he's like, when this is over, I have to go fix the problem. And she's like, you mean kill your daughter? And he's like, no, I have to fix the problem.
She's
like,
a time apparition. Yeah. And I got to fix that.
And then at the end of it, he's like, I can't.
Yeah. And
because
Jax.
Yeah. And that's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, and that's definitely going to have repercussions, though.
Too is
like,
awesome. One of the best parts.
I wonder, like, if a time aberration goes unfixed, even if it's something like that, but it's like a relatively small thing, how bad of an influence is that going to have? Like, I know it's got to come back.
Yeah, it is,
and it's probably going to have to be fixed at some point.
And it might have to happen when Hunter comes back.
Yeah, and that's like when Rip. Yeah, if Rip shows up and finds out that this is going on, he's going to be like, "You got to fucking fix this now."
Yeah. And
it's like, oh, man. But the thing is, how do you fix something like that? Because, like, what you gonna do? Tell him, like, go back. All right, don't fuck your wife. Like, don't go to Boomtown.
Yeah.
No trips to Boomtown for you. Double up. Like, double condoms when you go to Boomtown. Like, get fixed.
Just dropping Plan B pills.
Because what if that causes a problem, too? Like, if he goes back and tells him, like, you can't do these things or whatever, then what if that breaks up his marriage? Like, there's no... way to make this not happen. Like, I don't know how you make something like that not happen without fucking other things up.
Yeah.
Because it's just all like boom leads to boom leads to boom. Like, it doesn't... You can't just be like... It's just like Barry with Flashpoint. Like, you can't fix the thing because the thing is already done.
Even Stein was like, Barry couldn't fix it. I can. And it's like,
but like, no, can you, though? No, not really. Like, you'll just kind of... Yeah, maybe you'll fix it to where she doesn't exist, but maybe something else will happen because of that. Like, it's all causality, and that's what time travel is fucked up. And that's why, like, in Star Trek, when they deal with time travel, like, the people who police it are always like, ugh, because they hate everybody who fucking time travels, because time travel always fucks things up.
You can't,
always. You can't not fuck things up.
Yeah. You can't just affect one point in time. It literally is. It's like trying to pull a hair off water.
Yeah.
There will always be ripples from it.
Exactly. So, epic in scope.
Yeah. Oh, the boom tubes.
The boom tubes are basically created, like, Cisco creates a little device and gives it to Kara that she can communicate through interdimensionally, and she can create a boom tube, basically, and get herself there if they need to, so they open up stuff for more crossovers in the future.
And the new president, like, hails the whole group.
Yeah, so, which is really cool. A black female president, awesome.
Yeah.
And then also, as they're leaving, like, Supergirl leaves, and Brandon Routh makes this great, like, she looks just like my cousin comment, which was, like, such a great Superman reference.
Yeah.
And there's some great stuff, like, just always some great stuff in there. With all the characters interacting together, there's always really good stuff. Barry and Oliver, I love to watch together. They really have an interesting friendship.
Yeah.
Like, they do have a Clark and Bruce kind of friendship, like, because, like, Barry's like, we should do this more often. And he's like, I mean, like, get together, not, like, fight fucking galaxy threatening shit. And he's like, what the hell would we do? And then they go out and get drunk. And it's the way they're talking and stuff. It's very much like Clark and Bruce talk to each other. It's like it is so cool to see that they couldn't necessarily do exactly what they would want to do, like have a Superman and have a Batman or whatever, and have that thing. But then they have these two characters that are so great, and they are still their own characters, but they work as that sort of parable in this universe. It would have been okay. It would have been ultra cool if next time they can work Superman in there too. That would be so great. Because that would have been great if they could have done it this time. Like, since they've already introduced him, it could have been like, I'll bring my cousin through too, or whatever. But see, the thing is with Clark, like, I don't know if he would go.
Yes.
Because he's always like, yeah, but if I'm gone, what will happen? You know what I mean? Because, like, even when the space stuff happens, a lot of times he's reticent to go because he doesn't want to leave Earth.
What was it? The movie, the one on Two Earths, where it was the Ultraman. He went over.
Yeah, there's precedents, and he's done it, but like he's always very reticent to leave, like either the solar system or like go to another thing, or whatever.
Especially if he doesn't know he can come back.
Yeah, well, it happened in like when they did the post-crisis stuff in like Superboy Prime and all that. Like he did it then too.
Yeah.
Because I was just reading the Superboy Prime comic and they were talking about it. I fucking hate Superboy Prime, old bitch.
Probably one
of
of the
great comic though.
Yeah, probably one of the most hated DC characters.
But all in all, it was absolutely fucking excellent. I had very little to complain about other than the Supergirl thing and the Slade thing. Like that was really the only thing.
Yeah, it was just like small little like
just nitpicky stuff.
I wish this or I wish that, but I mean, overall, they did a damn good job for what it was, for the scope they were going for. They did a really good build up to it and a really good job of executing it.
Yeah, it's just really great stuff. Yeah. I wish I could say the same about Marvel for me this year. I can't. Like, I've been a big S.H.I.E.L.D. fan the entire time, and this season has completely just lost me.
Yeah.
I just have not liked basically anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like 4 episodes behind, I think, maybe 3 or 4
episodes behind.
Because I just can't force myself. Like I don't give any fucks. Like it's not, I still like all the characters, but this Ghost Rider thing, like it looks cool, whatever, but it just seems to not fit at all.
No.
It seems like it's like they're force fucking a character into there that doesn't belong in that.
While they're still trying to deal with some of that Inhuman stuff.
Yeah,
too.
it's just
like too much.
It's bogged down in shit, and I don't care. But I want to say, before I forget, because we're getting closer to the end, but we got some new stuff to talk about too. But I want to say, big, huge congratulations to Dirk. 45,300, I think, was the final tally. Yeah. The biggest number ever. Blew away every single stretch goal to the point where they even brought in another stretch goal to get a slipcover for it too.
Oh wow!
So yeah, that absolutely blown away. Like I was watching the live videos he did. He was in tears. Like the guy is just really, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
That's great.
And it's a testament to A, the quality of the work, and B, the quality of the person. Because like he has this thing, and he instills that like friendship and that kind of that makes you want to help and makes you be like committed to it. He's just really a stand-up guy. Yeah. And it's a testament also to the fact that you don't have to be a DC or an Image or a Marvel or any of that shit to be hugely successful as a book.
Oh yeah. I know I saw recently with Eric. Eric just said something that I think he got notice from the distributors that they sold out.
Yeah, of the book that he and his sister did together. Yeah,
No Angel.
Which I'd love to get a copy of, but I don't know how we can get one at this point. But I think it's on Comixology, so you might be able to download it. But I'd like to get a physical copy too. But
I'm sure we can.
We had some. Oh man, we can't really talk much about it, but we got to see character designs, and we can't show you obviously. But
that's it. That's all we
can say is we got character designs for our characters for the stuff that's going on in Legacy, and I'm jazzed.
Yeah,
I'm so jazzed. Watson's so excited. I can just see him on the other side of the instant message just jumping up and down.
Oh, dude, he keeps like...
He's so geeked out right
messaging me. I'm like, Mike, you keep teasing me. You're like a 13-year-old girl. Stop this shit, dude.
He's over here doing over the pants stuff, and we're like looking for something more. He's on second base, and we're like, come on, let's take it home, baby.
Like, finish or stop. Seriously.
Do it for your country. Come on, I won't tell your mom, I promise.
Like, you love your country. Good God.
But no, I'm so excited about that. I want to say also that Sunday is the Jim and Dan show out in Dayton. at Wright State University. We're going to be there for that one. I don't know. Do you think you're going to come out for it?
We'll try to be there.
Okay. Well, I know you're still so sick, buddy. But I'm at least going to be there. The Basement Beach is going to be with me, and I've got a shitload of new prizes.
I'll be in
the
bubble.
$1 dice game.
I'll be in the bubble.
Be the boy in the bubble.
Be the Dave in the bubble.
We'll have Legacy Comics. We'll have some of JR's books there. A bunch of nice indie stuff. Anyway, I've got a crap load of awesome new prizes. Because I found a great new store that is super awesome that I could do a whole show about. I love so much. It's called Home Buys. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. That one's from 10 to 4, Wright State University, Jim and Dan show. I think it's $3 admission and parking is free.
Yeah.
So we'll be there on Sunday. News-wise, I've got a couple things. Star Trek news. The Star Trek show that they've been working on for the CBS All Access, Brian Fuller, who is originally the showrunner and producer. If you guys know him from like Pushing Daisies and a bunch of other great shows, and he actually did a lot of work on Voyager back in the day too.
Yeah.
He stepped down as showrunner because he's committed to a show called American Gods, which I've heard really good things about on Starz.
I'm based off the Neil Gaiman book.
Yeah, and he was supposed to be doing like just as an executive producer, but now he apparently he's disconnected from the project altogether, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I understand that sort of thing happens. He still wrote the first 2 episodes, and I believe he mapped out the entire arc of the first season, so they're not sure if that's going to change or not because other people have taken over.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they're at least going to use those 2 scripts that he wrote.
Yeah.
And also, we had three main characters cast for it as well. The captain was cast, which they're saying in this one that the first officer is kind of the main character, but usually the captain is really kind of your main character.
Mm-hmm.
But not only is it a female captain, but it's a Malaysian actress, Michelle Yeoh, who everybody probably remembers from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and we know she's a badass. Mm-hmm. She is the captain, so a lady captain, and B, the very first ever Malaysian captain, Malaysian actor as a captain in Star Trek. And then also Doug Jones has been cast. You guys know Doug Jones as being Abe Sapien, Buffy,
awesome.
The Strain, Arrow. Like he is like the ultimate makeup actor these days. Mm-hmm. He's playing a character called Lieutenant Saru, who is a Starfleet science officer in a brand new alien species. So it'll be interesting to see what awesome makeup he's going to be in. And then an actor named Anthony Rapp, who a lot of people remember from Rent, has been cast as a Lieutenant Stamets, who's an astromycologist, which I think that's like a space diseases, maybe? I'm not quite sure. Oh, fungus expert. Okay, so like microbes and fungus and stuff like that. He's a Starfleet science officer.
Bones?
Yeah, like him from Bones, yeah. He is going to be the fully out there gay character, as they're talking about, and the captain's name, Michelle Yeoh, Captain Giorgio, it looks like. Giorgio? I can't really... G-O-G... I don't know. I don't know how quite to pronounce that, but the starship is called Shenzhou.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Georgie. Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But see, Discovery is the one that's the main ship, so maybe she's not captain of this ship, she's captain of another ship.
She might be.
So that's interesting. I was thinking they were saying she was going to be the captain of this ship, but maybe she's transferring or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. So, but at least we're getting actors now. They're saying May is when it's going to be coming out.
Okay.
It's been pushed back twice, so it's like...
But I mean, it's also...
We're holding out hope.
They're trying to start
a whole new network,
like
a new digital network. So it's very difficult to get all that stuff done. But I'm still cautiously very optimistic for it because I love Star Trek and I really hope that this is going to be something great. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about that.
And no sappy hair rock.
No, God, yes, please just get some decent music. Don't be like Enterprise and ruin everything. But yeah, I'm really, I don't know. I'm excited about it, but cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, it could be good.
Did you have any news things? I don't think so. Yeah,
it's hard to check the news when you're in a coma.
I know, like, the only other thing I wanted to mention is a few quick wrestling notes. If you guys didn't see Raw, and you're wrestling fans, obviously, if you didn't see Raw, go out of your way to watch the main event. It's Charlotte and Sasha Banks for the women's title, and it is probably one of the best women's matches on Raw, at least, that I've seen in 10 years. Yeah. It was Falls Count Anywhere, excellent match, a lot of emotion, a lot of story, a lot of really great work, and totally like it's like a 20-minute match, and not often do you see women main eventing the show. Like it is the main event of the show, and it was totally worth watching. And there's also, if you've been following the Goldberg Lesnar stuff, there's a really good Paul Heyman promo on there talking about Lesnar and furthering the storyline of why Lesnar lost the match against Goldberg and like what's coming in the future. And like I really have to just again praise Paul Heyman for just being so amazing.
Yeah,
like this guy is just. He is a product of another generation as far as wrestling goes, and there'll never be guys like this again, like Heyman and Cornette and guys like that, and Jim Ross. Like there'll never be guys like this again. Heyman shows so much raw emotion in this interview. It's amazing. Like he looks bad, he's disheveled, and Paul Heyman never looks bad. It's just a thing. Like he is shaken, and it really does something to deepen the story. And I really like whoever's writing this particular storyline. Like they really got something. Like I'm sure Paul Heyman writes his own promos. In fact, I know he does. But like whoever's producing and writing the other parts of this, that they really making a compelling story here, a money making story. Which is really impressive, and ratings have been up on both shows.
Which is
and
good.
SmackDown's been really steady lately and been rising. So.
That's good.
All good stuff happening there. But I think that's all I've got as far as wrestling wise goes.
Yeah, I don't.
I think we're about. I think we're a little over. Yeah, we're right on. Hey, we're right on. So I suppose it's chilling time.
Yeah, dance monkey.
All right, I will dance like the monkey that I am. If you like what you heard this week on the Basement Fodder podcast, you can always find us at our network home of Digital Nerdage. It's digitalnerdage.com. You can find us on our website of thebasementofdoom.wordpress.com. And of course, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Basement Fodder, and Facebook under a myriad of things. Todd of Basement Fodder, Dave of Basement Fodder, the original Basement Babe, the Den Mother of Doom, the Basement of Doom, Basement Fodder Podcast, the Todd Files. It came from the queue, and of course, if you're in the market for custom action figures, you can always find me at Titan Trap Customs on there as well. Whew! That was a mouthful right there. Please come out and see us if you're in the area at the Jim and Dan Show on Sunday. And I think that's going to wrap it up for this week.
Yeah.
As always, from the basement, I'm Todd.
I'm Dave.
And until next time, the basement door is closed.
I'm going to die now.